Good afternoon on what is another bright, sunny, warm and clear day. It is Thursday 24th of March. I'm back in the Age Nook with a box and a nice hot cup of tea. And I'm delving back into this box, which I have pulled out one or two things so far, including these card sets for John Carter of Mars, and dice sets for the game, and I'm delving deeper in further. I've pulled something out there. Next I'm going to look at this package down here, so let's find out what's in here. Next thing I'm going to pull out is this, which is Jeweled Thrones of the Earth, which is a anthology of scenarios for Robert E. Howard's Conan Adventures in an Age Undreamed of, which is published by Modiphius Entertainment, and it uses the 2D20 system. The Hyborian Age awaits you. Hither come Conan the Cimmerian, black-haired, sullen-eyed, sword in hand, a thief, a reaver, a slayer, with gigantic melancholies and gigantic mirth, to thread the jewelled thrones of the earth under his sandaled feet. Jewelled Thrones of the Earth presents 6 complete and ready-to-play adventures for Robert E. Howard's Conan Adventures in an Age Undreamed of. Within these pages, game masters will find the means to take heroes across the whole of Conan's world. Explore a lost city in the steaming jungles of the south and dare to face the feathered ape, as well as other menaces in devils among green stars. Sail across the eons to an island enthralled by a demon goddess and attempt to escape the hand of fate in the Pact of Zeabala. Seek unimaginable wealth within the caves of the Darrow, whose denizens harbour a terrifying secret. Defend the frontier against an attack by Picts, spurred to war by an ancient evil known only as the Ghost of Thunder River. Discover the secrets of a sinister thief cult hidden within the heart of a city, watched over by the 1,000 eyes of Amag Bel. Fight slaves in a desperate battle to win freedom and escape the horrors of the Red Pit. Uncover a diabolical and degenerate race lost to the desert and time in the seethers in the sand. Guidelines for linking these adventures together into complete campaigns. Scattered jewels, a dozen exciting adventure scenes to help spur further exploits. Okay, so there we go. That's everything in the book. So we open up, essentially we've seen this, obviously front cover in the core rulebook. There's a nice use of sort of the artwork, whether they're in the core rulebook, where they're using a sort of preface between each chapter. So here you can see the front cover, continues on the back, but you open up and you've got it reproduced inside, so you can see the full effect. And the inside of the back, you've got a map of Hyboria. Okay, so welcome to these bloody pages. We have overview of what's in the book, accompanied by sort of like the nice conceit about sort of like the academic merit of exploring the forgotten past, that is Hyperborea, treating it as if it's a real thing, and it's a nice touch, gives it a bit of context and so on. Before we get into Devils Under the Green Stars, the first of the 6 scenarios within these pages. This is basically in a place around Lost Zukundu, and we've got alternate locations to place that if it's not fitting the Game Master's to campaign. Tables for danger, nice map of the region. It's all like an encounter there, illustrated with a rather vicious looking giant crocodile. So yeah, backed up by nemesis, giant reptiles, and more artwork. It's getting the feel for it. We have various NPCs you encounter, a headless corpse, and encountering Queen Chichikaka and the Path of Skulls. pull you into the scenario, and then encountering her in the throne room before hunting the apes, and presumably a giant ferocious ape in the basically the feathered ape, which they can find out, but basically from rumours and their guide in the ebony keep of the Zotartsi. So there's a nice little map of the keep as well. And then more dangers, the Chamber of the Red Creeper, and then we get into beneath the Jade Keep of the Makettu, inside the Crawling Chaos, and really cool, we've got a vile piece of artwork there, and they've got a nice little case. Before we actually get into the Jade Keep itself, so lots going on, lots of the player characters to do, and finding evidence of the ape, and activities to make it to, including a torture chamber, and more, and sort of facing the hall of the Canarton, basically horrific family underneath the keep. So complete with full stats, of course, all nice easy to read, I guess you can bring into play. And then we have the feathered ape revealed. So secrets to be revealed, lots to discover, before we have the aftermath and the next scenario of the Pact of the Zia Barbara. And this one, okay, the city ripped from time, the unimaginable costly sacrifice of a giant king sorceress bent on immortality. So here they face the after effects of sorcery, and a lost city. So it's got some lore there to potentially present to the player characters, and essentially we get to play characters get to go on a sea voyage. And discover something strange about the. I don't have a map of it, but we do get basically get to Xeros, the Dreaming City, in the ruins of Xeros, and essentially trying to deal with the problem of a temporal storm. And encountering Zia Balba, the goddess, whomever, the villainess of the piece responsible for the setup. Then Caves of the Darrow, and this essentially this sort of like takes place on the road, and they basically travel out to investigate some ruins and discover basically there is some kind of complex beneath. They've got strange events to throw at them, and then discover that sort of like got ruins above and ruins below. Should presumably get into the actual cave of the Darrow, and here we sort of like the Darrow sort of like, you would think, okay, reminiscent of sort of like the Underdwarves in Dungeons and Dragons, and the player characters has kind of hunted through the complex, and basically trying to work out what's going on. So yeah, another mystery, this one below ground. And then goes to Thunder River, and this is more of a wilderness scenario, and it's the player characters have to face down an attack by the savage Picts, driven to act. And then sort of like try and find out what's going on, what's causing them to attack, because they attack a lot, but you know, But of course, they have their reasons, sometimes of their own, sometimes by outside forces. And then we have the Thousand Eyes of Omag Bell. Which is essentially, this is when a precious amulet is stolen from them by a gang of children. The player characters must pursue the thieves into a strange subterranean palace. There they encounter hideous creatures born as the result of terrible sorcery. After braving these terrifying and deadly encounters, they come face to face with the devious Ormag Bell, prevent the dreadful ritual he seeks to enact, and free the city from his villainous influence. So, this is a bit of a sort of like a bit of a MacGuffin chase. You know, and we're literally involving a chase. We've got a chase through the marketplace after the player characters have had this item stolen. So that's kind of exciting, and it's a sort of thing where sometimes your players go, but I wouldn't, you know, basically object to something being stolen from them. But it's sort of like, go with it, roll with it, because the plot, and it gets them involved in something else going on into the dark labyrinth, where they discover his awful servants. And exactly what he's up to in his lair. And facing the final horror, which is the worm within Ormag Bell's true form. Ugh. And then we've got the Red Pit. Essentially, let's have a look. This is where the setup is a bit more difficult for this because all the play characters work as slaves, so that's a bit of an issue. But they so essentially don't want to be a slave, so we've got a background alternative setup. So this is sort of adventure where you might run after the player characters have been captured by someone and then sold on. And this is their chance to get out, and they're working in this giant quarry, the Red Pit. But it's sort of like, I mean, it's perfectly in keeping with the genre, of course. But it does, I suppose, some players may complain about the agency taking away from them. But yeah, in this, of course, we have just essentially discover what's going on at the Red Pit, what's being dug out, and then of course having to make their escape. So see, in the darkness. Okay, and that's the last, the sixth scenario in here. Basically the player characters have been hired by a loquacious god to accompany him on a quest for a lost ruin in the desert southwest of Zambola, a ruin no one's ever seen or heard of. So sort of classic setup. You follow the scholar, to find out what's going on, locate the city beneath the sands. We've got a map of it. And then of course, as I remember, I think they get caught. They essentially they find a few secrets, and it's a sort of one way. I'm presuming you push too far, and you have to get out as well. So ultimately you have to escape the nameless city. So here's we've finally got a guideline to running this as a campaign. So you can put that together as basically following those guidelines. Anyway, so that's Jeweled Thrones of the Earth. You'll find a link down below to a review. And if you've enjoyed this unboxing, then please do click on the like button down below. And if you've got any comments or feedback, I appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me with a box and a called game, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 2 minutes or so. All, of course, I've got to buy a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do hit that subscribe button. Anyway, thanks again for watching another unboxing of the Nook. I'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.